This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
You are listening to the List Building Lifestyle Show. Here is the king of list building himself, Mr. Igor Kheifets.
What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, I got to give you props, man. You are on episode 100, and you did that. It feels, and maybe time is warped for me, but it feels like you did that super quickly.
You know, it does feel like we did it super quickly. In fact, I would like to congratulate you as well, because you're a big part of that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You know what's funny about it is that you and I have been working together. Maybe it's been a year. I don't know. It probably hasn't been, probably half a year, but you've really ramped up your game. But I was just recording show number 100 with Doberman Dan a couple days ago. And that was, 2 years of work together. And you've managed to accomplish this in a much shorter time, get huge guests on your show. And I imagine that it's doing something for either your business or your ego, or you wouldn't keep showing up.
Well, it's actually for both, I would say. We've had tremendous success with the podcast, raising awareness for better conversions, for better traffic optimization. And it's been one of the purposes all along. Of course, the other purpose was selfish, to, get better customers, because at some point I was getting frustrated with the people who sort of expected something for nothing, that looked for handouts, that were still looking for that quick fix. Just give me the best buyers. Just give me the best buyers that buy everything right now and never complain and never refund, as if that thing even exists, honestly.
Good luck. Good luck. So, Igor, what do you have in store for us on show 100?
Well, today's show has been inspired by Stuart Diamond, the author of Getting More. And it's, a great negotiation book I read, where it really kind of brings you back and forces you to look at the world for what it really is. In fact, not really the world, more so the people, for who they really are, rather than kind of live in your own little box and thinking that, if people join my opportunity, it's because the people are bad, not because I did something wrong. So, today I want to talk a little bit about what kind of person do you have to be in order to influence others to do business with you. And what it has to do a lot with is your ability to show empathy and understanding towards another person. And I'll read a quick quote from the book to kind of illustrate my point. So Stuart writes, or should I say Mr. Diamond, it's not like we're friends or anything, but I really admire his work. Many people think that others who don't see their point of view are being thick, stubborn, or unreasonable. That's not necessarily so. Often the things you hold so firmly and dearly are invisible to the other person. They don't exist. So to persuade people with different perceptions, you must start with the notion that your facts, or your ideas, your thoughts, and your perceptions are invisible to them. What you see so clearly, the other party may not see at all. In psychology, this mistake is called fundamental attribution error. And basically, you assume that everyone else reacts to things the exact same way you do. So, for me, it really shows up in a form of clients not really getting why someone would say no to their opportunity. And I had this a lot when I was talking to my VIP clients on the phone. I still get this occasionally, but less so ever since we launched the podcast, because we spoke about this many times. It's like, when someone tries to join an opportunity or is looking for an opportunity to join, there's a lot of skepticism and questioning. But as soon as that person joins the program and tries to get someone else in, they forget about what it feels like to be on the other end. And so, when it comes to persuading anyone to do anything, we forget that they don't see things the way we see them, and what we often, what for us is often just common sense and a given, for other people, it might not even exist within their world.
Yeah. I've been there, done that.
Yeah, we all have, Jonathan. We all have. So when you're trying to convince somebody to join your business opportunity and you're like, whoa, just look at this funnel they're giving you. this thing is worth a ton of money, they might not even know what a funnel is. They might not even understand why you need a funnel. They might not even heard of the concept of a video sales letter and why video sales letters are so powerful. They might still be stuck in that frame of mind of thinking, what if I invest the $20 and I will not make those $20 back? Now think how profound how big of a gap you're looking at between someone who understands what funnels are and is already looking for a good funnel versus somebody who's still stuck far, far behind at those early stages of becoming aware to the possibility of making money online, where they still are worried about losing the $20 because they won't get them back immediately. Now, how do you go about convincing that person? That's a good question.
Are you giving the answers away, or do we have to buy your product?
Oh no, this episode is not about getting you the answer to that question. This episode is about making you aware of the huge gap between where often you are and where you expect your prospects to be. Because you might be joining your fifth opportunity right now after 6 years of going from one opportunity to the next, not having success. You learned a lot. You know what list building is. You understand the value of a video sales letter. You understand the concept of a team and why you need one. You seek high quality mentoring, etc., etc., etc. And somebody who tries to join you is still at that place where all they want is a proven, overnight, get rich quick system. So if you now then talk to them about this awesome coaching you're getting for free with your opportunity, that rings absolutely that just does nothing for that other person. They're waiting for you to say something completely different. And when you say, look, there's no get rich quick scheme over here, you lose them. So question is then, how do you bridge the gap and help this person realize for themselves that there is no get rich quick scheme without alienating them, and then have them ask the question, okay, so if that stuff doesn't work, what am I supposed to look for? And then come to you asking that question so you can explain to them what you look for in a good opportunity. So again, we're talking about the huge gap between you are and where often your prospect is. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where, say, you email your list or you put up a video and you get either no response or you get just super angry responses, you're probably violating this rule of persuasion, where you assume that your market knows or understands something or perceives something to be true, just like you, when in reality, this is totally not the case.
It's interesting. And it's one of the reasons that I think podcasting is working so well for you is because you're actually already doing that in these episodes, right? You're educating people, you're giving them ideas, you're giving them the smarter question to ask, but not necessarily in a brute force manner. You're just planting the seed, kind of like Inception. It's in the back of their head and it grows till it becomes their idea. And then they come to you more prepared, more willing to buy, and more ready to take action.
Yeah, exactly. And, this is, of course, marketing examples. What about real life? Did you ever try to convince, maybe you've had an argument with your spouse at one point about something that was so obvious to you, which wasn't really obvious to them? I remember a couple of weeks ago, I really got angry, with my wife, and I stopped talking to her. I just didn't talk to her for like 2 days. And a buddy of mine came home. He's like, I noticed something's off between you guys. What's up? And, he's a close friend. So, I say, well, look at this. We're in my home office. Look at this. And I take off my, what do you call them, Jonathan? Like the shoes you wear at home?
Your slippers? Your chinelas?
Yeah.
That's what we call them.
That's right, slippers. So I show him the bottom of the slipper, and it's like grayish, blackish, like somewhere in between black and gray. I'm like, look at this. She hasn't cleaned the house for 2 freaking weeks.
Oh, shit.
I can hear the sand crumbling beneath my feet. And I'm getting all upset about it, right? Because we live in Israel, and I live like on the really close to the desert part, right? So I'm like, there's lots of sand, so you kind of have to clean the house often. Otherwise, you're like in a sandstorm. You breathe this stuff, you walk on it, you sleep on it, and so it's getting disgusting. And ever since hooking up with Dennis a couple of years ago, I became sort of like a germaphobe. So I'm like, I can literally imagine all these creatures kind of eating through my skin and stuff. So I'm telling this friend how mad I am at my wife and how upset I am, and I get super emotional. He's like, well, I can see this is really upsetting you. So did you tell her that you want her to just get with the program and just clean the house? I'm like, no.
What?
And he's like, what? Yeah, he's like, what? Doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, she's supposed to get it on her own because it's one of her things that she's doing in the house. I make the money and I pick Erica up from school and do this, and we have our tasks that we're supposed to do, and she's one of the things she's supposed to do is keep the place clean. He's like, well, I'm sure if you just tell her that you're really upset about the sand on your slippers and that you really hate breathing this stuff, she will just clean the house. So essentially what happened was I snapped at my wife later that day. It was really, it was a difficult conversation. I'm not proud, for doing that. But after that, I recognized the truth in what my friend told me. And the next time it happened, because that's how my wife is, having an argument about it doesn't help. So it happens often. I just asked her, I said, Anastasia, look, the house is really dirty. Can you clean it? She's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it tomorrow morning.
Really?
That's it. Yeah, that was it. So I was just supposed to tell her because, she just waits for me, apparently, to tell her to do it. Now,
you got it good. I had to hire a cleaning lady.
I insisted. I say, let's hire a cleaning lady. She said, no, I don't like anyone else cleaning my house. I don't like other people cleaning my house. I'm like, okay, fine. Then just do it on time, so anyway, my point is
get on a schedule, lady.
Yeah, like get on with Jonathan. He knows how to stick to a schedule. Look at what wake up 4 a.m. and clean the house. No, but seriously, notice that we had a communication gap after. Damn it, how long is it? 8? I think it's 8 years. I hope she doesn't listen to it because I'm not sure. But I think it's been 8 years since we've been living together. And we still have communication issues. Now imagine how many communication gaps you might have with a person you never spoke to before.
A stranger.
1 million, 2. So how come are you so surprised when you send them a pitch for your program and it just doesn't hit?
Right. You don't even know what angle, where they're at. That's well, you know what? That is a good reason. And I know you do this all the time, but that is such a great reason for you to spend time in your market daily, talking, listening, finding out where their head's at, because it's going to be in a totally different place than yours is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you have the opportunity to connect with your market, it's awesome. And if you're just getting started, then the market is probably the people you're talking to on a daily basis because they're trying to achieve the same thing. So my advice to you is to first recognize that you don't know anything about the other person. And second advice is to not assume that you know what they know. In fact, assume you know nothing, absolutely nothing, and then go to work to find out exactly, or at least approximately, what they know, based on which you can then build your infotaining content. Because unless you do it, you can be writing 100 emails per day. None of them will hit because there's just too big of a gap between where they are and where you expect them to be.
Good advice there. Could be missing the mark no matter how many emails you send. Damn it, man. Now we got to go do work.
Well, you got it, yeah. I mean, think about it. Why would you spend 2 years mailing your list and not getting any results if you could just spend a day or two researching where your market's at and then just adjust your marketing and start getting results from day one? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because, logically, that's the way to do it. But emotionally, what we do when we join a program, we just rush. We rush through it. We just say, you know what? I'm not interested in talking to the people who don't understand what I'm saying. I want to talk to the people who are already, over here and know the value we provide. Well, you know what? Good luck with that. Because most people you're going to talk to have no freaking clue what you're talking about. You'll have to get down. Or should I say, not to get down, but more so to take a few steps back and align yourself with where they at, with the way they see the world, with the way they perceive business opportunities, with the way, they feel about sharing their dream with their family. I mean, here we are, right, selling the dream, and we tell people, hey, join this program and you'll make a ton of money. But what we forget is that a lot of these people, while they secretly want to join the program, they're embarrassed to admit to their loved ones that they have this dream and that they want to leave their day job. So how can you convince someone get off the fence if you don't acknowledge their present situation? They won't even listen to you. And that's the thing. That's the other thing. they will physically not be able to listen to you, or physically not be able to see your advertising for what it really is, unless they feel acknowledged in that way.
Yeah, there's a couple big lessons there. One of them is, and it's funny with you being on the other line here, but there's a lesson in humility there, humbling yourself and getting to where they're at. And the other lesson there is meeting your market exactly where they are, because you have a certain view of the world and they don't have that view yet, and you got to get to that shared view like you and your wife did. I expect you to clean the house and you better clean it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's so much easier to communicate with somebody. There's way less friction, there's more communication, there's more compliance, and you really find yourself in a situation where you don't really have to say all that much anymore for people to be convinced to do business with you, because they feel you know exactly where they are. They feel understood by yourself. When that happens, there's no hostility, there's no skepticism. Because if I know that I'm talking to somebody who understands the place I'm at, I will then assume they understand everything else, and I will not fight them. I will not see them as somebody who never walked a mile in my shoes. That's why, for instance, when I got married, I got closer with my dad. That time I got really close with my dad because I then could discuss all the things that bothered me and kind of got under my skin about marriage. And every time I would start talking about one of those things, you would see him kind of closing his eyes and slowly nodding his head. It is sort of reaffirming that, yeah, I know, man. I went through the same thing 25 years ago when your mother and I got married. And, then from that point forward, guess who I went to when I had marriage issues? My dad, because, he understood me. I could have gotten to a marriage counselor, but hey, my dad understands me, so I'll go talk to him.
Nice. All right, so we're coming close to wrapping up. Any closing statements, Mr. Kheifets?
Yes, absolutely. Assume you know nothing. I mean, I actually got this thing tattooed on my arm, believe it or not. And if you follow me on Facebook, you've seen me post about it. I have I know nothing tattooed on my arm because, Leo Tolstoy said it's the highest degree of human intelligence. The smartest people in the world assume they know nothing. They don't make assumptions, and they don't lock themselves into one box. They are smart enough to recognize that other people have other boxes, that other people see things differently. And so that what allows them to be effective, smart, and pretty much just unstoppable, because if you can cater to what other people feel and think about, that makes you into the ultimate influencer.
So it's safe to say that for listening to this show, you have learned nothing, you know nothing, and you should come back to get some more nothing next time. All right, another List Building Lifestyle show is in the can. We will be back with you next time.
Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.